Hey everybody! Joy here. You can see I'm back at headquarters again. I would make a lot more videos, but I'm telling you, my nose, it just wants to run and run. And it's not cold outside. I think it's going to be 65. I'm taking a pill for it. And you have these pills over here. So you have to take those. It helps. Sorry, Cherry. Especially if there's a nut inside. So most of you know, Jerry and I have two houses. Why do we have two houses? Because we used to have two businesses, two commercial buildings. They were in two different towns. And so sometimes I would work in one town and he'd work in another town. And we had to have two houses. And so it's just kind of, since we had it for 35 years, the idea was we were going to sell this one because we're old now. And we were going to buy the other one, which is near Tulsa. And then we were going to sell this one. But then when we came back here to sell it, we couldn't. We just thought, why do we have to sell it? You know, nobody's making us. So this is the one we really call home. This was just a forest when we bought it. We bought 11 acres and it was just trees, thousands and thousands of trees, with a lake down the hill, Lake Texoma. We're not on the water edge, but we are very, very near it. When it rains a lot, the water comes up behind our property. Our property is surrounded by core land on two sides. So it looks like we own 100 acres, but of course we don't. But we love it. We just love it. Everybody that comes here says, this is the most beautiful place. And they're not talking about our home. They're talking about the land. So we decided we'd rather keep the land than sell it and have the money. So that's why, even though we're old, we still have two houses. So here's the thing. When you have two houses, pardon my nose, I'm telling you, you're going to see why I can't make videos. Why don't you take something for it? Well, I'll tell you. It seems to be this way whether I take something or I don't. And since all those YouTube doctors keep saying the worst 5 pills in the world for dementia, and the first 2 are antihistamines, I try not to take them. But I'm trying to make you a video and tell you something real important, and I have something to introduce you, somebody to introduce you to. I don't know if you can call it a somebody, but she has a name. So when you are a craft person and you have lots of different things you do and you live in two houses, you can't have your stuff just at one house, because if you did, you'd have to bring the machines with you. You know, every time I came from there to here, they're 3 hours apart, I'd have to bring the machines with me. Well, I don't want to bring the machines with me. And I had an older machine here, and it has gotten so old they won't even take it as a trade-in anymore. So I decided I'd just go ahead and make this house match that house. So we have a new member of the family here, the embroidery family. I call her the Duchess. You want to see her? If I get my nose to it running, I'll grab the camera and take you in there. Stay with me. So for my new subscribers, Jerry and I built this house 27 years ago. Jerry bought a bulldozer and he cleared a place, knocked down and burned all the trees, made a place for our house, and then he built 2 ponds, and then he built a bunch of barns. The deal was, this was a bonus room in the house plans, which Jerry actually drew. He took a plan and then he made it way better. And so the deal was, he got the barn and I got this upstairs room for my sewing room. So I had those cabinets built in here. And I had the bookcase built in here. And it has 2, over there is another bedroom that is empty because we moved it to the other house. So That's one of those, what do you call them, cupolas or something on the roof? And it looks out onto all the beautiful trees in the woods. So then this was an attic, and I know a lot of you already know it, but this is for my new people. This door you opened up and you walked out into this attic, and it was full of all kinds of pieces of wood and insulation and stuff, boxes of stuff. And this is a long story, y'all, but I bought a long arm. The long arm was 14 foot long, and I had the long arm at our store. We owned a commercial building. We built it in town in Kingston, Oklahoma. It's called Family Medical Supply. And since we built it, I had a room, an extra room built onto the back of it where I could have my grandkids come and stay and play, you know, while we were working there. And so I put my long arm in there because it was a big room. But at some point, my husband decided the long arm shouldn't be in our business, and so he said I had to move the long arm to this house. So right there is where the 14-foot long arm was. The 14-foot long arm is now at the other house. So when we moved it to the other house, you know, our intent was to sell this house, and now we're not selling it. So we came back here, decided to keep it. Well, here I just had this big hole in this room. Nothing here, just this big hole. So I decided to get a little bit of furniture to put in here. And of course, it gave me a place to hang up my quilt. So I'm excited about that, loving this little area. And now, since I put this here, my husband decided it had to have a TV. And so we come up here every single night after dinner and we watch that TV now. Oh yes, we have a movie room. It's out there. That's my husband's. Used to be my old sewing room. And he decided when I moved into this attic that he was going to take over that room for his big screen or whatever you call it. And we never watched that. So now we sit in here and watch this. How nutty. But so this is where we are. This is my attic sewing room at our Kingston home on Lake Texoma. For my new subscribers, okay? So there's another one of my quilts. I love this room in that it has this big space for me to hang my quilts. I used to have a quilt right there, but now we have a TV quilt, so you know, I bet I could get a picture up there somehow of a quilt on that TV screen. And over here is what I've done with my cutting table. 2 of my cutting tables went to the other house. I ended up with 1 cutting table here, so then I added that other table, so just always something. Okay, so are you ready to meet the Duchess? You want to see her? How many know what it's going to be? Say, Joy, we already saw it. You showed it to us. You can see I've got hoops. I've got hoops. I've got little plastic bags. I've got boxes. I just hauled the great big boxes downstairs. So over here where the Elissimo used to be, and still is, there's what's left of my Elissimo. That Elissimo is now a sewing machine. Okay? No more embroidery on that. That is now a sewing machine. If one of you would like to buy it, I probably would sell it, but you'd have to come here and get it. So I don't know how that would work out. But here she is. Meet the Duchess. You know my other Radiance I named Lady R. So I decided to name this one, since it's newer, I decided it needed a higher title, since Lady's like the lowest title you can have. And so I named this one the Duchess. Duchess R. I just got her up here yesterday morning, and I played with it, you know, to the point that I know it's got the right update and it's ready to use, but I haven't sewn a stitch on it yet. I mean, it is brand new. Just put up yesterday. So I'm going to do a project of some sort. I have something I'm working on that this new Radiance is supposed to be able to do. And so far, I haven't been able to get a good result. The thing seems to be, and this is going to sound nuts. It does to me. It's going to sound nuts. Let me see if I can close this up for you. The thing is, this fancy girl has software called Picture Play. And you are able to put a photograph. Let's look at a photograph. You're able to put a photograph, like maybe that one right there of me and my mother. I have it in color and I have it in black and white. My friend Terry took that picture at my mother's 90th birthday party here at my house. Maybe that picture. Or a colored picture. Let me see. Maybe this one. This is my little granddaughter Lauren many, many years ago. Maybe that picture. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Maybe that picture of my mother when she was 18 years old in Boston, Massachusetts. Maybe this picture of me and my Boo Bear before he got married and moved far away from me and broke my heart. Maybe this with his little sister Lindy. I don't know. So as I was saying, the thing is, Picture Play evidently is for a picture, a wall-to-wall, edge-to-edge picture. When you look online at the things that this machine does, the real name of the machine is Radiance, by the way, not Duchess or Lady. But it has a thing called Picture Play where you're supposed to take a photograph and scan it in there, and then it's supposed to be able to turn it into an embroidery design. It may take 4, 5, 6 hours to do it. I don't want to do that. I like my picture to look like a picture. I like it just fine the way it is now. I don't want to embroider it. But I do want to embroider images. There are lots of images out there in the world, clip art images, that I like. There's floral, and there's hearts, and there's butterflies, and there's snowmen, and there's Christmas, and there's Thanksgiving, and there's everything. And so I just wanted to scan an image and turn that into embroidery. Well, that has turned out to be extremely difficult. The messages I get back from the professionals up there at Babylock are, well, you need to keep working with it. I worked with one image for 3.5 hours one day. 3.5 hours. Simple image. One of the people up there actually tried to help me and worked on it, and his image didn't come out good either. He said it would require more work. Well, when does the work stop? So I'm working on it. Now, I already had Lady R, and I already knew this. Lady R is the one I spent 3.5 hours on one day, trying to do an image. And as you can see, I have bought another one. So obviously, I love it enough to buy another one. It embroiders beautifully. It's quiet. I love the hoops. I love the surface on the bottom that holds the bigger hoops. And I'll bet, as much as I complain, I bet everybody up there knows who Joy Bernhardt is now. Hi! Let me come up there and I'll sit down and work with you. Oh, I know. I was telling one of the ladies yesterday I had a YouTube channel. She said, you mean you make videos for YouTube? I said, yeah, I do. I said, I've been talking about the Radiance for months. So they probably know who I am now. Of course, I don't really know that, but... So I'm going to let you go for now. I'm going to come up with some kind of a design to put on a shirt. I have lots of shirts here. At the end of the year, in one of my videos, I told everybody that at the end of the year, when the t-shirts go down, and they cost a decent price, like $8 instead of $25 or $30, I buy them. And I usually will buy, 5 or 6 of them. And I did that. I bought some recently at JCPenney. Now, the only problem with that is the shirt's already made. And I'm so big that the shirt is big. So usually I can hoop it and get it to, lay there and get embroidered. But my preference is to make my own shirt and embroider the front or the sleeve or the back or whatever I'm going to do. I made this. So say I didn't make this yet and I just had this piece cut out. I would cut it out bigger than it's supposed to be. Usually I'll draw the pattern on it, mark the center with a big X, and it'll still be like just a rectangle. But I'll know there's room on there for me to cut this piece out of. And then I will put it on the embroidery machine, and then I will embroider it, and then I'll finish making the shirt. So I think that's what I'm going to do this time. I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. Stay with me. It is 5 minutes till noon, and I've just come in and I've turned on the Duchess. I have connected it to my internet, and I'm going to show you how I play with a design. It's the one I worked on for 3.5 hours the other day. Mike Johns actually sent me some instructions, but I already knew this stuff. So, but I really appreciate the time that he took to do it. I really need to read the whole thing. But I know what he's talking about. Pencil with the plus, pencil with the negative, include color, remove color, all of those things I really do know already. And remove background tool. Oh boy, that's the issue, is the remove background tool. Did you know that this machine has the brightest light? It also has a screensaver where all these pictures pop up, which is kind of irritating, but there's a way to make it stop doing that. I need to figure that out. But you see how bright that light is? That light fights with my camera. I've turned the lights on the ceiling off. I've closed the blinds. I'm trying to get it so you can see this monitor really good. So let's go into settings. Goodbye, little girl. Go into settings, and I actually found a place the other day where you can dim the lights. Of course, I don't remember. You know, I need to have a little Rolodex and write down notes of where I found things. I've got version 111. I understand there's version 112. It's supposed to be out this morning, but I haven't gotten it yet. There's a place where you can dim the lights. Let's see where it is. I think there's a total of 12 pages in this thing. Oh, why don't I use my mouse, since my mouse is in here now? Yeah, I connected my mouse to it. Screen display brightness. Screen display? No. I want the light. Here's the light. See here? Let's see if it goes down. 4. Ooh, yeah. 3. Oh, yeah. What's it look like now? Is it going down for you? 3. Light. 2. 2. Hello. 2. That's down pretty far, but still, it looks really bright on this camera, doesn't it? You also can change the light on the screen, what I call the monitor. Evidently, that's what that would be. Or you can turn it completely off. Now that's really dim now. So what are we going to do? I have a really cute design. It's a reindeer, a funny reindeer, with a bunch of ornaments hanging from his antlers. He's on this flash drive right here. How did I get him on this flash drive? I purchased him from iClipArt.com. I paid for 1 month's subscription. It was like $30. And for 1 month, you can download 1,000 designs if you want to, if you have the time. I think I downloaded 30 or 35. Most of them I can't use, and you'll see why in a minute. This one had good black lines on it. Good black outlines. I thought, oh, I think that will help. So, that reindeer is on here. I put him on here from my computer. I downloaded him from the internet, from iClipArt.com. I purchased him. I downloaded him. He went into my downloads folder. I put him into my file folder called Clip Art beginning November 25. So he is in that folder, and from that folder I put him on here. He is on here as a JPEG, JPG. There's only certain extensions that will work with the Radiance. And JPG, not JPEG, not JPEG, but JPG will work. So I'm going to stick this in the little hole that's left, because one of them has my mouse in it. So the one that's left is going to get this. So there it went. That's my flash drive, and it's in there. So now, what are we going to do? We are going to go to Picture Play. If I'm not going to scan it, okay? If you're going to scan it, you'd go into IQ Designer. I'm not going to scan it. I'm going directly into picture play, and I am going to get the image off that flash drive. I don't know, IQ Designer, surely you can get the image off the flash drive too. I would assume you could. Let's try. Let's go into IQ Designer. I've spent so many hours on this, I forget some of the stuff I've done. Okay, IQ Designer. Let's get a design. Let me see, where did those come from? Let me see where these designs come from. Nope, those don't come from a flash drive. Let's try this one. Cancel. I think you have to scan your design here, unless you've saved it. Now wait, look there. Here on this icon, but see it says to go to the pocket. Well, the pocket actually is your flash drive. Ta-da! The pocket is where you save stuff from your flash drive. Let's see if it's in there. I've been working so long, so I don't have it in the machine. I don't think, I might. But I know it's on that flash drive, so let's look there. Here's the B pocket. You know the B pocket is on your flash drive. Babylock puts it there. So you go into the B pocket. Did I open it? Yeah. See, it doesn't work here, I don't think. Let me see. B pocket, nothing in it. And I know it's on there because I just put it there yesterday. Joy, do you know what you're doing? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Let's try picture play. See here? See it says Samsung, and the little lightning or whatever that's supposed to be. And here is my Samsung flash drive right here. It knows its name. So let's click on it. It has a B pocket as well. Here it says it has grass. I don't know what the heck that is. It has a B pocket as well. Let's see if anything's in it. Look, it says Funny Deer and Kids in Leaves. And they're both JPGs. I named this crazy deer Funny Deer. And that's the one I want, Funny Deer. It's a good image set. Now when you set it, all it does is it puts the picture there in picture play for you to work with. It's not an embroidery design yet. There's nothing embroider thread anywhere on him. It's just a photo. Now you can do a photograph. Remember I told you earlier, you can do a photograph. But this is not a photograph. Maybe I should go outside and take a picture of a real deer. They're certainly out there. See how that works out. Oh my heavens. Okay, so this is my deer. I think he's totally cute. I would totally put him on a shirt and put Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Jump for Joy or something. I don't know. But I have not been able to get him to digitize properly yet. Now, Mike Johns tried to, and Mike Johns had some of the same problems I had. In fact, he had other problems I didn't even have. And he said, as in his tutorial, well, you'll have to work on it some more. Well, at some point, the work should stop, right? And this is a good image. I have decided that you can't outline an image like in your embroidery software on your computer that you paid thousands and thousands of dollars for. You can't add an outline to it. So if you're going to deal with it here, you're going to have a reproduction of what's there. So if there's not an outline already on it, now this is Joy, The people up at Babylock may be going, oh my God, she's totally wrong. If I am, I apologize, but this is me and my experience so far, okay? So keep that in mind, my friends. This is me. I have found that if there's not an outline already on your image, you're not going to be able to add one to it. Even over there in IQ Designer. I tried. All right, so what are we going to do next? The size of this is 9 by 11 almost. I don't want it that big because my biggest hoop is only 10 inches. So let's make him smaller. I haven't unwrapped my, what you call it yet? What do you call that thing? I guess you have to push this one at a time. It's going to take forever. If I hold it down, oh, there it goes. All right, so let's make it 9.5. Or let's just make it 9. Well, there's almost 9.5. Let's leave it there. That's not over 10 inches, so it should fit. It has to fit in my 10 by 10 magnetic hoop. Isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. Other people may think, boy, she's really silly for an old lady, but whatever. You do what you like, I'm doing what I like. Oh, all right. Now we're going to hit next. He's not going to turn into an embroidery design yet. All I've done is I've changed the size. You could rotate him if you want to. You could make him skinnier or taller or wider or whatever. But all you can really do here is change the size. Now, right here is a little icon. Look what it says. Background removal. This is my issue with the Duchess and Lady R. Background removal. Let's preview it and see what it does. Look. Now, I was a little bit worried that Lady R was defective because Lady R kept doing this to me. And I thought, well, when I get my next Radiance, I'll see if it does the same thing. And as you can see, it does. It removed his whole head. It removed every ornament. It removed all of his antlers. So, forget remove background. Let's return. Okay, what else can you do if that doesn't work? Let me show you. You can click on remove background. And there's another choice. Do you see what the other choice is? There's auto and there's custom. I need to get a pointer. I got a pointer around here somewhere. Y'all hold on. Let me find my little pointer. Okay, I found my pointer. So, here under background removal, you have auto and you have custom. What I just did that removed half this guy, I mean the whole top, his head, his eyes, everything, removed it all. That is terrible, just terrible. So this time we're going to use custom. Custom is very different. And custom is what Mike Jones used. Notice that underneath the custom tab, you have a pencil with a plus and a pencil with a minus and an eraser. What you can do is you can mark the background for it. So let me tell you about that. The pencil with the minus will put a colored line, I think it's green, will put a green line where you put the green line, designating what you consider the background to be. Now, you don't have to color it all in. You don't have to mark all of it, but you got to mark a lot, especially on the little. See how the background is white? See how the teeth are white? See how his eyeballs are white? See how there's white between his legs here, here, and here? If I tell it to remove all the background with this minus pencil, let's try it. Just say we're going to remove the background there, there, and here. That's what we think the background is, okay? So, we've marked the actual background. But notice that his eyeballs are white, his teeth are white, and between his legs, like I said, there's more white there. But that white is all contained inside black lines. And I would think this software would understand that what's inside a black line is not background. However, this little part here is. Now, he says you can blow this up. He said someplace you can blow it up bigger, but I don't see right here where you can blow it up bigger. I'm going to put a little tiny green line in there, and I'm going to put a little tiny green line in here. And you have to put it so tiny, it'll probably remove his whole leg. Okay? So I'm going to tell it, that's the pieces of the background I want removed. Now see, there's openings where the background goes through and around all these ornaments. You shouldn't have to mark that. It should know that the background is a continuous white part in this area. Let's see what it does. Let's preview it. Alright, now do you see what it did? It turned this guy blue. What that means is everything that's blue is going to turn into embroidery stitches. all of the blue stuff. At least it didn't cut his head off, and it didn't cut his antlers off. But notice, his teeth are still white. That means it's not going to embroider his teeth. It's removing it because it's white. Even though I didn't mark it, and even though it's totally closed inside his body. Notice that his eyeballs, they're not blue. It's not going to sew embroidery stitches in his eyeballs. And until his mouth is blue and his eyeballs are blue, you're not done with this design. Fortunately, it seems to have saved his legs. One time I did this, and one of his legs disappeared. So you have to be very, very careful with your marks. Okay? So what can you do now? You can go to the plus pencil. The plus pencil right here. And instead of minusing, you can say, oh, I want embroidery designs here. And I want embroidery designs here. I want that black to embroider. I don't know how to mark the black part. Let's see if we can. I want that eyebrow to embroider. Let me see. Here's some stitches, some string holding the ornament up. I want it to do it. If it isn't blue, it's not going to stitch, my friends. This isn't blue. This isn't blue. So you see how I'm telling it? It did not do this line. Now, it's very, very, very hard to do a straight line. They need to make a way. See how this line is black? This, when I say line, I'm talking about the hanger that's holding the ornament. You see? The wire, the string, the cord, the whatever it is. None of them are blue. So it's not going, here's one that's blue. It may sew that one out. It may sew that one out. But all of these black lines, let's preview it again. Oh, let's mark his teeth. Let's do your teeth. Keep it in there. Let's see what we have now. Let's preview it again. It takes a while. You know, it's software. It has to work. And there it is. So, look what it's done now. And this is the problem I had in my 3.5 hours working with it. Do you see what it's done now? It still doesn't have the black around his eyeballs. His teeth, you can erase, by the way, these lines. You can get these lines to go away. Erase your lines if they bug you, which they do. You can erase the lines and see, you know, what you really have left to work with. So that's nice. Erase the lines. Erase. Erase. It doesn't erase your image. It just erases those custom background removal lines. But look what it's done now. It's going to sew embroidery stitches in here in between these two antlers. I don't want that. It's going to sew embroidery stitches in here between those two antlers. It's going to sew embroidery stitches here around this antler. I don't know. He put in here some place that you can make the design bigger. Increase the image size just to have a larger image to work with. Yeah. But I would have had to do that to begin with. So you see what I've still got here? This background removal tool is my #1 complaint, issue, problem. Now, if I wanted to sew the background, it would have digitized this instantly and it would have been just fine. But I don't want to spend 4 or 5 hours sewing out this reindeer. And I don't want a big white square behind him on my shirt. You understand? I just want the funny reindeer. That's all I want. So you can see the problems that background removal creates. Yes, Mike Johns, I know about the plus and I know about the minus and I know about the erasure. I watched him 10 or 12 times do that haunted house. I watched him so long. So I worked on this guy a little more. I don't know. He's even worse. Do you see what's happened now? I tried to mark the black lines that hold the ornaments. So now it has added stitches here. Anywhere you see blue, it's added stitches. It's added stitches in there. It's added stitches in there. It's added stitches around that and up here. So this is the issue I have with background removal. So let's cancel this. And let's just play like we're not going to do anything to the background, okay? Let's just return to the beginning where we just choose him. And we say, okay, let's sew the background. And we do next. And we do original. You can also choose these funky different ways of doing cartoon pictures or something, but I want him to be normal. Let's see what kind of an embroidery design it makes if I don't remove the background. Please wait a while. We do a lot of that when using these machines, a lot of waiting. But isn't he cute? I just think he's so cute. I would love to put that on a Christmas t-shirt. Look, there he is. Perfect! Absolutely perfect. If. That's a capital I and a capital F. If you put the background in. One of the ladies that I talked to at Babylock told me that this does something called a scatter stitch. All the fills, you can't choose a fill, not in Picture Play. Picture Play uses some kind of stitch called a scatter stitch, and it wants to do a totally full picture. Okay, Joy, well you could just remove the background by not sewing the white part. Oh really? Is that what you think? Let's see what happens when we do that, okay? Let's say we don't want to sew this background here, and we know it's white, so we're going to choose this white. Now there's a way that you can choose a no-sew, and I'm always lost as to how you find it here. Let's see, let's do set. Let's do set and see if it gives you an edit box. Converted to embroidery, Picture Play will be exited. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go to the edit screen. Alright, so let's say we're going to edit it, and we're going to tell it not to sew the white part. We're going to choose this no stitch, no sew. It's called no sew. I've been calling it no stitch. That no sew. See, here it is down here. So we are going to put it on the white. There it is, right there. We just told it not to stitch the white. It got rid of the background just fine. But look what else it got rid of. He has no eyeballs anymore. His teeth are gone. Somebody mentioned, and I thought myself, that we could make the eyeballs a different color, make them pink or orange or something that's not the background color. But how? I have an image from the internet. I would have to have some kind of photo software, some other way to change the color of his eyeballs. I might even try that. I've got Photoshop. So maybe I will pull him up in Photoshop and see if I can change the color of his eyeballs in Photoshop. But, you know, how many people have that? How many ladies who have embroidery machines have an image software? Look here. This is all the white that it removed. Look how much white there is. Everything that's gray or blue or whatever, that's what it's not going to sew. So now you see my issues with Picture Play. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what happens if you use IQ Designer? Well, you want to see? Let's try IQ Designer next and see what happens. Hit the little house. Hit OK. He's gone. He's going away. All right, let me print out this guy. I need to print out a picture of him. Then I need to put him on that scanning mat, and then we'll scan him and we'll see what IQ Designer does. How about that? I'll be back. I still have lots of things that aren't open yet from the Duchess. So we have our scanning mat. Sorry if my room looks uphill, downhill. There's something going on with my tripod and I can't figure out what leg to move where. I look pretty straight. Hope I am. Alright, so here's what's called the scanning mat. The scanning mat has magnets. The only magnets you're ever allowed to use with this mat are these green ones. They made them bright green so you can't miss them. Now look at this image. Is that an excellent image or not? That's why I chose this image. I thought it was so very, very clear and well outlined. I thought, oh, surely it can do that. Let's put this boy down here on the scanning mat. Now, I haven't used IQ Designer as much as I have Picture Play because I've had bad luck with IQ Designer from day one. But let's see, maybe today is the day. Maybe the Duchess has a different way of looking at things than the lady does. So now we're going to go put this, like it's an embroidery design, in a hoop. It goes in just like a hoop goes in, only the machine is going to take, the Radiance is going to take a picture of it. And then we're going to try to digitize it with IQ. What does IQ mean? What does Q mean? Anybody know what IQ means? So here is the Duchess. We are going to load this scanning hoop. We're going to go to IQ Designer. And we are going to put this in. Now this is the first thing I've ever put in here. Remember, I just opened it yesterday. Okay? So it's in. So now, on IQ Designer, let me see what you can see. Remember, I haven't done IQ Designer in a while. We're going to scan it. So we're going to go to this little leaf. There is a leaf up here with an arrow coming out of it. And we are going to tell it we want it to scan this image. Again, we have choices. We have image scan, we have line design, and we have illustration design. Image, line, and illustration. I would call this an image. So we're going to use the image department, and then we're going to tell it to scan. Oh, you just hit the OK button, Joy. Lightning fast mind. Okay, so now it's going to go up and down and in and out and around. And the Duchess is going to take a picture of this guy. It takes a minute. It's not long. But I have found that the image does not come out as good. Now remember, I have the lights turned way down on this. I have them turned way down to 1. I heard them say on the tutorial at Babylock that if you have a lot of bright light in the room, which I do have the lights on the ceiling, maybe I'll go turn them off. Let's see how good a scan it does. All right, there it is, and it's a terrible scan. Look at it. You can't even see it. It is so dull, you can't even see it. So we're going to start over. Let's start over. Maybe it wants more light to scan it with. Let's come up here. What page was lights on? Does anyone remember? Here it is, right here, and it's on 1. Let's do 3. Maybe it likes the 3. There, now see how it's much brighter? Okay. Obviously, it needs some light. Since it came out so dull and boring, I'm going to say it needed more light. But I actually heard them say on the tutorial that it wanted less light. Alright, so now we're going to scan it. Image scan. Scan. Okay. There we go. We're going to scan again and see what it looks like. That's me making a noise behind it. It didn't make that noise, I did. Let's see what it looks like now. Why is the scan so bad? Alright, they say that you can make it darker if you push this leaf. Let's do that. Okay, I pushed this leaf right here, and that makes it a lot brighter. But it also makes these green things show up much more. There's supposed to be a way you can shrink your picture, but I don't see the arrows around it yet in order for me to do that. Someplace there's a way you can get rid of the green things. Let's see what happens when we do next. Nothing, because we don't have any stitches in it yet. We haven't made it an embroidery design yet. So I'm wondering why it's not allowing me to shrink it and put the box right around the image. Let me see, here's a box, what's it do? There, that's nice. But that doesn't cut off the green, that doesn't cut the picture. You know, you have so many different kinds of software in your head, then that's my issue. Some software does one thing, some software does another thing. Okay, so let's hit close. Now I'm just learning this again, because I haven't done this in a long time. I've had such bad luck with it. Let me see, does it want us to go ahead and digitize it? Let's see. Let's put it on 400% and make him bigger. Let's see if we can digitize his nose. How about that? Let's see if we can put stitches in his nose. You won't be able to see the stitches, which is another frustrating thing. So here's stitches. This is outline. See that line right there? That's the outline department right there. Right here, see these stitches? They call it, what do they call it? They have a funny name for it, but what it is it's fills. And this department right here is the fill department. So we already have red and we already have a fill, so let's pick the bucket. I mean, I couldn't get past the bucket the other day. And let's see if it will fill his nose. And you know what it's going to do? I'm going to tell you what it's going to do right now. I'm going to tell it to fill his nose with red. But there's not another stitch on this, it's only a picture. And when I tell it to fill his nose with red stitches, it's going to turn the entire image red. You watch and you'll see. There you go. So the whole image is a red embroidery design. Why is that? Because there's nothing to stop it. There's no outline around it. So my next problem here in IQ, it's all coming back to me now. Oh yeah. The next thing you would think is you need to put an outline around everything. So I'm going to use this line. I'm going to use it in black. You can do a zigzag. You can do this running stitch. You can do this triple stitch. Let's do triple stitch. Let's do okay. Now, the lines have a bucket. The fills have a bucket. So I'm going to tell it I want to put that line around his nose. So I'm going to click on his nose, the black outline. You know what it's going to do? It's going to do nothing. See there? I just clicked on it and it went click, 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 click. Does nothing. So I hope somebody tells me what I'm doing wrong here, because I'm doing something big time wrong. I watched the class, and this is what you're supposed to do, is click on the outlines, and it turns it into a triple stitch or a single stitch or whatever. But this isn't doing anything. Because if I come back down here again to the fill, and I tell it to fill the nose, it's going to turn the whole page red again. See? So this is the problems I have with IQ. If it would do what it's supposed to do, it would be wonderful. And again, it's probably 100% me. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't say, well, you're doing it all wrong, Joy. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Undo. But somebody please tell me. Let's put it on 800 and maybe it can see the line better. Look how big it is now. Now you have a hand. You can move the hand around. I am going to click the outline again. I tried this for hours before I tried picture play. I tried this over and over and over. Let's try green just to see if it changes it to green. All right, paint bucket for the line, and it should be green now, and we're going to click right on that line. Nothing. Nothing. See? It won't put a line on those outlines. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem is. That's the properties. I don't know if it's a difference in the pencils. I tried this pencil, nothing, didn't make any difference. It's not on no-so, it's on the line. Let's try Candlewick. Let's try purple. Let's try OK. Let's try the paint can. And let's assign it to the outline. Nothing. 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 See? So, this is what happened to me when I tried to do this in IQ Design. Got nowhere, finally gave up, and went to Picture Play. Okay? So, that's all I know about that. I'm positive it has to be me doing something wrong. I am going to bring that lesson up again on the IQ Designer, on the Babylock tutorial, and watch it again. And I'll do it right now, and then I'll come back in a little while and tell you if I learned anything that can change this and help me get it done. Okay, my friends, I went in there and I got that class up on IQ Designer, and what they scanned was just a line image, just black lines on a white background, floral design, no fills whatsoever. So I came in here and I started playing again, and look it, I accidentally figured out how to do his nose. So let's go back and figure out what I did, because I am clueless. All right, so let's go cancel and let's start over, because I did something different. Let's see what I did different, because I am not sure. Okay, cancel, you wansel. All right. Oh, I need to write this down, because if I come back in here tomorrow, I'm going to forget. And I just accidentally figured this out. It's not on the tutorial. What tutorial are you talking about, Joy? I'm talking about the Babylock 101 embroidery tutorials, or whatever they're called, that they give you for a certain amount of years if you buy the Radiance. Okay, I think I got them for 4 years or something. Okay, so I just went back and I looked at the tutorial on this, and like I said, it was just a design like this, just black squiggles on a white background. You know, anybody can do that. Basically, all I did was erase part of it, and then when they turned it into embroidery, it still deleted part of the design it wasn't supposed to. Okay, so here we are. I need to name him. I'm going to name him Randy. I've got Randy over there ready to be scanned again. So we're going to push IQ Designer, only we're going to do something different this time. I took my mouse off because I needed it on my laptop to watch that class. IQ Designer, we're going to go up here to the leaf. See the leaf? Hello. I don't like this thing very much, but now you see you've got image, line, and illustration. I'm going to click line design. As far as I'm concerned, and my brain can figure out, this is an image. It's called an image. It's a clip art image. But we're going to choose line design. Okay? Let's choose line design. And like I said, I don't think this works very good either. Then you push scan, and then you read all of this miles and miles of what you're not there allowed to do, or you're going to go to embroidery jail. And then click OK. Okay, so now we're going to scan. It's scanning. Same picture, same machine, same scan, same camera. I don't get it. But I was able to digitize this boy's nose. Oh, if I can do that, hey, I'm going to sew this out this afternoon. It's already 2:30. See, I've been hours and hours on this today. All right, let's see what comes up over here now. There he is. Now, remember I told you you're supposed to be able to clip it? When you use line instead of image, you get to have these arrows and you can clip it. Clip, clip. See? And now we're going to get rid of those greens. So, I've already got it on dark here. And I'm going to hit OK. Now look at what I got. I got this a while ago and I went, oh no, all the colors went away. It's the end of the world. Oh. But I thought, well, you know, maybe that means that it has put those outlines in there, and that man just said on his video that it puts the outlines in as a zigzag satin stitch. It puts the lines in as that kind of stitch. Now look, it's got the hangers for the ornaments, it's got his eyeballs, it's got most of his feet, looks like. It's got a lot of stuff. I don't think it's 100% there. And it's already up as high as it can go on the colors. You can move it down to see if it will pick anything else up that wasn't already there. And I don't think it did. Let me see if anything goes away. No. I think it's the same both ways, but I'm not positive. Let me look. Looking at the little balls, the fill inside. Some of the fill inside the balls doesn't look exactly right. But hey, we've got black outlines. Alright. Now look down here what it's showing you. It's showing you that it has a line with the satin stitch. It's showing you that. Hey, where's my pointer? Ta-da! Look here. It's showing you that the line is a satin stitch. And I'm assuming it's referring to all these lines up here are a satin stitch. It shows you can look at the original view. See that up there? Original view. And that's my original view. Now I put it on result view and you can see that all the colors are gone. But look at this. When I hit set, I was so excited. The colors are back. Look! The colors are back. Not only are the colors back, the green things are back too. But watch what I can do now. Let's make it darker so we can see it. Alright, there it is. Let's make it bigger so we can see it. Let's do 200. Let's do 400. Okay, let's see if we can turn his nose into stitches. Here we've got a stitch. There's a stitch. You can do a pattern. Let's pick a different one. Let's choose a design. How about that? This is so exciting. I can't believe I can fill that nose now. Okay, so let's say we're going to fill his nose with something that looks nosy. It picked that. That's leaves. That's not nosy, Joy. How do you pick more designs? Oh, you go like this. Okay, something that looks like a nose. What looks like a nose? I don't know. Little zeros. Actually, a total fill would be best. But just to see if we can. Let's just see if we can, just for fun. Let's choose this thing. Hello. I wish this thing worked better too. Okay, so we're going to put that, and we're going to put that in his nose. Let's see how that works out. See, there it is now. See here, it shows you. This is a fill. They don't call it a fill. I can't remember what they call it, an area or a something. But this fill, when we choose the paint bucket, because the paint bucket's going to fill a whole area, and we are going to choose his nose. It'll show you embroidery designs. Okay, it's showing the black outline. I think it is showing that, but it's showing it as being very, 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 very big. There is a way to make it smaller. Let's choose this, and let's go down to like, I wish you could hold it, but evidently you can't. Make the design smaller. 50%. Yes, it is just his nose. Let's look at 800 and see what it looks like. 400 is as big as you can go there. You can't tell. You can't tell. You can just tell a tiny bit. I can see it, but you can't. So let's make it a solid fill because that doesn't look good. Return, Laverne. Let's choose something solid. That one. And red. And okay. And the paint can. And let's do his nose. Let's go to 400%. Alright, it worked. Did you see that? It just worked. Let's do his head. Let's do a brown head. Y'all, you have to be patient with this. Can I tell you that? Let's pick brown for his head. Okay, let's take the paint bucket and let's put it on his head. Aha! Looky there, now he has a head. Let's do his body. Let's do his neck. Let's do his ears. Look at that. Let's look at next. Let's see what we've digitized. And so if I hit set now, it's going to turn it into an embroidery design. And I know it's, oh my. So look what it's done. It's going to sew out all of those black lines, and it shows every single hanger for every ornament. Yay! Let's blow it up to 400% and see his nose and his body. Is that fun or what? Is that fun or what? So, it's a little bit workable. I think there would be issues with the designs and the stripes because they're so tiny, and his teeth, he's at 400%, and look at how tiny his teeth still are. But that's IQ Designer. Evidently, it doesn't like you to use image for your choice. It likes line, even though it's not a line, it's an image. So, I understand that in January or February of 2026, they're supposed to come out with some new tutorials on Sew Ed. I pray that they do. And I pray that they will show us exactly how to deal with things like I am dealing with. This collar right here has 2 red beads in it, and you cannot see them there. That would fill in as a solid. But the ornaments, I don't know, it looks like the outline, like right here. Where's the hand? Hand. And it's not just me, I've watched them do that too. Yeah, right here, and right here, and right here, it's got extra black that shouldn't really be there. He's got some eyeballs. It's missing the tie here and the tie here. Part of that tie and part of that tie. So see, it's still not perfect. Even though I was able to get it to put an outline on it, which I wasn't able to do before, because I chose image. So I'm telling you, you have got to have patience, and you're going to have to practice, practice, practice. And then if it still doesn't work, then you let somebody know who's higher up than you are over there at Babylock, and you hope that they can figure out what to do. Now, Mike Johns did try this reindeer, but he ended up with kind of a mess too. His did not come out perfect by any means. But at least he tried it and gave me some instructions, which is what all of this is that I showed you earlier. That was an email from a girl that I know there. Okay, so let's talk about something else now. Are you tired of this? But you now have met Lady R and the Duchess. So the Duchess lives down here in Kingston and Lady R lives in Mounds. And my nose is clearing up. Can you tell? I finally had to take something. Let me figure out something to embroider onto a t-shirt. And then I'll come back and show you how great this machine is. And it actually does amazing embroidery. But I'm not going to be able to do that reindeer, so let's figure out something else. So this video actually went on and on and on, but I decided to cut it right here. I hope, I should have said this at the beginning. If you've been my subscriber forever and you've seen my houses a million times, just skip all that part at the beginning when you watch my videos. But I have a lot of new subscribers, and so that I get questions, why do you have 2 houses? Why does your sewing room look different? Where are you? Where'd you go? Okay, so for my new subscribers, you should be all caught up. I'm here at our Kingston, which is in southern Oklahoma, home. We're not right on the water's edge, but we're down here at Lake Texoma. You can look at it on a map and you'll see right where we are. We are close to the part of the lake that's called Alberta Creek. Actually, lots and lots of people know about this place down here. I don't know how many people we meet in the world, our world, that say, oh yeah, my aunt lives down there, my brother has a place down there, my brother has a place down there. It's a vacation spot, a retirement spot. So lots of people know about this area. We didn't come down here to retire, but we're here now and we are retired. So, so I hope I've shown you something about my issues with Lady R and the Duchess, and many of you. How many of you actually have a Radiance? Raise your hand. How many actually are thinking about buying one? Raise your hand. So I just wanted to show you my experience. Remember, this is my experience. Okay? I have spent many hours, and I don't think you should have to spend that many hours coming up with a design on a machine that's supposed to do those things for you. But that's me. Alright? Watch my next video. I'm going to let you watch my very first embroidery design on the Duchess. But I've got to get something cut out to put it on. I love y'all. Bye for this video.